Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and also good morning to some of you. I'm Christoph Haider, President of the European Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar, Evonik Improves Life Day In, Day Out. It is great to see that this webinar has gained attention in countries such as Australia, India, Indonesia, Korea, Pakistan, Macau, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and many more. This really shows that the SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals, has become more and more important. I also have to thank our colleagues in Singapore, but also from the European Business Organization Worldwide Network, because without their help, we could have not made it a global webinar. Before we start, please allow me to shortly brief you about the procedure. So we have, in a very few minutes, we have Harald Schwager doing his presentation, which will take about 30 to 40 minutes. And then thereafter, we have the possibility, or you have the possibility, to raise questions to him on his topic. And in order to do so, please use the chat box so that I can read these questions and then raise those questions to him on behalf of you. Today, we have the honor to learn from Harald Schwager, member of the Executive Board and Deputy Chairman of the Executive Board of Evonik, will share his insights about how Evonik is focusing on achieving the SDGs. Now I would like to ask Harald to take over from here. Harald, please take it.
Yeah, also from my side, a warm welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm happy to take part in the webinar series of the European Chamber of Commerce in Korea. And I'd like to thank you very much, Christoph, for the invitation. As we all know, sustainability is the most important topic for the world, for society, and of course for the economy. If we want to develop sustainability solutions, we need industry, we need companies like Evonik. Without industry, without the innovative strength of industry, its creativity, its research and development, we will not be able to anchor sustainability in the lives of people, in the lives of everyone. Evonik is not merely a participant in solving of global challenging. In several areas, we are right at the forefront. And this is why the title of my speech today is Evonik Improves Life Day In, Day Out. Before we go into the presentation, let me introduce myself first. My name, as said, is Harald Schwager. I'm 61 years old and have a long experience in the chemical industry for more than 40 years. So now we hop into the presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, what does Evonik actually do? Our headquarters is in Essen in Germany. We are active across the globe and we are among the world's leading companies in specialty chemicals. You will find Evonik in thousands and thousands of consumer products. In many cases, these are very small quantities that we contribute, but it's precisely these components that make the difference. At Evonik, we share a purpose that unites us all, leading beyond chemistry to improve life today and tomorrow. That's what we definitely stand for. To do this, we at Evonik go beyond chemistry. We network our competencies and our perspectives with each other, from chemicals through biotechnology, physics, material science, and including other disciplines. We look for strong partners with whom we can drive innovations together. This way, we create value-adding and sustainable solutions. Our strategy helps us to continue to grow and to play a leading role in the markets of the future. With our group structure, we bundle our diverse competencies under one roof. At the core of our structure is the operational business, of course. With our corporate culture, we focus clearly on our strengths. This is how we want to achieve our shared vision, becoming the best specialty chemicals company. With our strategy, we rely on profitable growth and on three pillars: portfolio, innovation, and corporate culture. To further strengthen our market position, we are optimizing our portfolio and we are aligning our company to growth markets and high margin specialty chemicals business. Innovation is also a key growth driver for us with new products, solutions, and business models. We open up additional growth potential. In this regard, our close collaboration with our customers is a critical success factor. By 2025, we want to generate an additional €1 billion in sales from our innovation growth fields. Our corporate culture is the heart and soul of our growth strategy. It's based on our corporate values, performance, openness, speed, and trust. Evonik is among the world's best, as you can see from the following facts. In 2020 financial year, Evonik achieved sales of about €12 billion and adjusted EBITDA of 1.9. Evonik's Asia Pacific region amounted for about 23% of group sales. Today, we generate more than 80% of sales from leading market positions, which we continue to develop. Our strong competitive position is based on close collaboration with our customers and our great innovative strength. A key factor in this success is our excellent trained workforce, whose commitment drive Evonik every single day. We are active in around about 100 countries on 6 continents, and we operate all in all in 26 countries' production plants, from New Zealand to Canada, Brazil to China, and of course in our home country in Germany. We are also in South Korea, in Ulsan. There Evonik operates a hydrogen peroxide plant. This ensures that we are always close to our markets and to our customers. In summer 2019, we started up a second production complex for methionine, a key strategic precursor in Singapore, built at a cost of around about €500 million. The plant reflects the increasing opportunities in Asia for sustainable nutrition and the importance of innovation in ensuring food safety. 2/3 of our 32,000 employees work at locations in Germany. In the Asia Pacific region, we have about 51 sites. We are active in 24 countries and have around about 5,000 employees. Now I would like to talk to you about what sustainability means for Evonik and which methods, instruments, and strategies we use to make Evonik fit for the future. In February 2019, my dear board colleagues and I approved our revised, reworked sustainability strategy 2020 plus, which we have been implementing consistently since then. First, we want to work together with our partners and customers to find solutions and answers to the urgent issues of the future. How can we reduce global warming? How can we close material cycles? How can we protect ecosystems? How can we contribute to ensuring that the growing world population and subsequent generations can live healthy lives and live in harmony with restricted natural resources? Second, in 2020, for the first time, as part of a sustainability analysis of our businesses, the entire product portfolio of Evonik was assessed. As of 2021, the results of this sustainability analysis are being integrated into the strategic management process. This means that sustainability aspects will now be integrated into portfolio decisions. Since quite some time, we have an internal, for example, an internal CO2 price, which is an additional criterion in investment decisions. So we put a price to CO2 to calculate our investment decision. The goal, of course, is to anchor sustainability directly in the management of the company, from the incentive systems through our innovation processes right up to important investments. Third, products and solutions from Evonik are contributing to sustainable transformation in many end markets. Therefore, we welcome the fact that the topic of sustainability is gaining in significance. Even now, we generate approximately half of our sales with products that verifiably contribute to improved resource efficiency in their application. More than 80% of group sales make a positive contribution to the achievement, as you mentioned, Christoph, to the UN Sustainability Development Goals. Fourth, we have set ourselves ambitious climate and water targets. By 2025, we will reduce our absolute greenhouse gas emissions by 50%. So not in specific terms, but in absolute terms, compared to 2008 as a reference. With this goal, we reaffirm our commitment to the resolution of the Paris Climate Agreement. We assume an average annual reduction in climate-relevant emissions of around about 3%. Fifth, in the major ratings and rankings, we have established ourselves among the leaders in the chemical industry. Last December, we were honored for the quality and credibility of the sustainability reporting with the Building Public Trust Award from the audit firm PwC. The audit recognized Evonik's efforts as the best company in the MDAX. Our sustainability strategy 2020 Plus has been developed in constant dialogue with our stakeholders. In addition, the Sustainable Development Goals that are most relevant for Evonik have been taken into account. How do we integrate sustainability into our strategy and management processes? How do we measure sustainability? With the anchoring of sustainability in the strategic management process at Evonik, the sustainability analysis of our businesses is, of course, pretty important. At the center of these are the key market signals identified for ourselves. A feature of this approach is the differentiated consideration of the various products in specific applications and regional context. If you apply a material in Norway to insulate houses, you do that to keep the cold out. If you do the same somewhere in Africa, you do it to keep the heat out. That is a different way of looking at things. So the regional context, of course, is important. We developed this method in collaboration with other chemical companies in the framework of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. The method was completed back in 2018 and implemented for the first time then in 2019. In accordance with the new method, the portfolio is divided into parks. PARC stands for Product Application Region Combination. For each of these parks, we analyze market signals such as future regulatory developments, critical substances, the contribution to ecological and social value creation, and sustainability ambition in our markets. The results enable us to group our businesses into categories according to their sustainability performance, and we design these groups as leader, driver, performer, transitioner, and challenged. We impose pretty high standards on the sustainability analysis of the businesses, and for this reason, we have had the method validated externally. In accordance with the increasing importance of sustainability for Evonik, we have initiated the methodological integration of sustainability in the group strategy as of this year. The strategic management process and the strategic goals, which have been approved for each business in strategic dialogues with the Executive Board, now take account of all key sustainability aspects. With the integration of sustainability analysis into the strategy, process can be better assess and control action alternatives. So what is the result now of this PARC analysis? Evonik generates around about 90% of its sales with products and solutions with regard to their sustainability performance are at market level or higher. This is the category I just mentioned, leader, driver, and performer. We generate 35% of our sales with products and solutions that, due to their extremely positive sustainability profile, are above or even significantly above market level. These are what we call the next generation solutions. They feature above average growth rates, and they are positively differentiated by their particular sustainability benefit in their markets. Evonik is active in a dynamic competitive environment with constantly changing markets and technologies. As a result, the sustainability requirements, of course, are not static. So that means we live in a moving target world, so that the efforts to reach the 35 or even higher numbers, of course, is getting tougher and tougher every year. We intend to further increase the share of next generation solutions in our portfolio over the coming years. We affirm, of course, with that, our purpose of leading beyond chemistry to improve life today and tomorrow. How can Evonik contribute to a better and a sustainable future? To answer this question, I would now like to present you 4 examples that it's getting more tangible. First is our competency in drug delivery technologies, which are required for the novel mRNA vaccines, which are, of course, are in everybody's mouth for the vaccination, which is necessary around the globe. We manufacture lipids and lipid nanoparticles, which are essential for all mRNA active ingredients. As part of a strategic partnership with BioNTech, we supply lipids for mRNA-based vaccines. mRNA technology presents a fundamental breakthrough in medicine. It has the potential to revolutionize the pharmaceutical industry and to lead to a paradigm shift. In the past, it was the norm to use chemically synthesized small molecules in the pharmaceutical industry. Today, therapeutics such as antibodies and vaccines are being produced biologically outside the body. The future lies in the application of mRNA. 25 study subjects are now taking part in clinical trials, and the initial market introduction took place last year. The human body produces its own medicine, in other words, if mRNA can be used as a data carrier. Cost-effective and rapid production is possible. mRNA have other uses besides the production of vaccines. A possible next step is to use the mRNA in cancer therapy. Another possible application area is gene editing. In this field, there are prospects of commercialization within, I'd say, next 5 years. And finally, mRNA can be used as a protein replacement or for manufacture of therapeutic proteins. Lipid nanoparticles are the method of choice for transporting the mRNA in the human body. Their manufacture requires a very high level of expertise and experience. Lipid nanoparticles result from a controlled mixing of mRNA with a lipid mixture. The lipid nanoparticles protect the mRNA from breakdown in the bloodstream. They deliver it safely into the cell and thus enable intracellular delivery of the mRNA and its releases after transport to the cell. It's released so that the vaccination can take effect. Evonik has been a leader in this field of drug delivery technologies for decades, and it cooperates worldwide with manufacturers and developers of various medicines. We are one of the very few integrated development partners for gene-based therapy approaches, and therefore, through the partnership with BioNTech, it is expanding the leading position as an integrated partner. This includes, of course, the marketing of special pharmaceutical excipients such as lipids, and also the development of formulation that is the combination of excipients and active ingredients. We also manufacture clinical test samples and are investing in the expansion of manufacturing capacities for commercial quantities right up to the filling stage. We have been actually pretty quick to recognize the potential of gene-based therapy approaches. The start was made back in 2016 with a site in Vancouver in Canada, which is now complemented with a production facility in Birmingham, Alabama in the US. And just recently, we acquired a new startup, Wilshire Technologies, as an American producer of plant-based auxiliary materials, which of course will complement those activities. Another example is the joint venture Veramaris, which Evonik established together with the Dutch DSM Corporation, and both have equal shares. What are we doing there? Salmon needs omega-3 fatty acids to remain fit and healthy. This also applies to salmon that are bred in aquaculture. Up to now, the most important sources of omega-3 fatty acids for these fish was fish oil. This is obtained from small oily fish such as sardines. Approximately 17% of the global fish catch is used to manufacture of fish meal and fish oil. In other words, fish eat fish, not men eat fish. So this means that to grow sustainably, the aquaculture industry needs alternatives to marine resources, because since many, many years, the catched fish on a global scale has remained stagnant, and there is no opportunity to increase that volume anymore. Together, we have found an innovative answer: the fermentation production of an algal oil made from natural marine algae. Our breakthrough innovation provides for the first time a sustainable source of EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids on an industrial scale without relying on wild-caught fish. Salmon are now being, I like that saying, salmon are now becoming vegetarians because we eat the algal oil. No? This new process could significantly reduce the fish in, fish out ratio in the future. This conserves fish stocks and protects the environment. In July 2019, after just 2 years of construction, we commissioned our production facility in Blair, in Nebraska, in the United States, and we have invested around about 200 million into that facilities to, as I said, make vegetarians out of salmons. The production facility is providing as much omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, as the equivalent of 1.2 million tons of wild-caught fish. To put this into perspective, the total annual wild catch in the Mediterranean Sea, for example, fluctuates around 800,000 tons annually. So that's a significant contribution to conserving marine life in the world's ocean. The zero waste production facility in Blair has capacity to cover 15%, of the total annual demand for EPA and DHA of the salmon aquaculture industry. And we plan, of course, to scale up over the next few years. Veramaris is a unique and outstanding. Not many companies have the ambition to change the face of an entire industry with one breakthrough innovation. It is truly something special. Oops. As an example of how far research and development have come in the field of carbon dioxide use, I would like to tell you about our Reticus project. In this joint research project, Evonik and Siemens Energy are working together. Another nice example that we need to partner across industries. Here we partner with Siemens Energy and are working together on electrolysis and fermentation process, the combination of the two. Last year, the Reticus test plant was commissioned at our site in Marl in Germany. So what is so unique about that plant? It uses carbon dioxide and hydrogen to manufacture high-value specialty chemicals. The energy required comes from electricity made from renewable resources. For the idea of artificial photosynthesis, which is behind the Reticus test facility, the researchers took nature as a model. Plants use solar energy to produce sugar, for example, from carbon dioxide and water in several steps. Artificial photosynthesis uses renewable energy to produce valuable chemicals from CO2 and water through electrolysis with the help of bacteria. Both companies are contributing their core competencies to the test facility. Siemens Energy is providing the world's first CO electrolyzer. It uses electricity from renewable sources to convert carbon dioxide and water into carbon monoxide and hydrogen in the first step of the process. Inside the bioreactor from Evonik, special microorganisms transform this synthesis gas that has been generated into valuable chemicals. in the test operation in Marl, the bacteria are generating butanol and hexanol for research purposes. These two products can be used as starting material for specialty plastics or feed additives. Our Reticus project demonstrates that artificial photosynthesis is feasible. If we can succeed in making this procedure cost effective for widespread use, it can help to make use of CO2 on an industrial scale. In addition, the project has provided an answer to one of the key questions of energy transition. How can we use electricity from renewable energy effectively so that the energy can be intelligently stored? We use the same technology platform for artificial photosynthesis in our research cooperation with Beiersdorf. The goal is the development of sustainable raw materials for care products which use CO2 as a starting material. By using carbon dioxide as a starting material for the manufacture of valuable raw materials, we can close the carbon cycle, exactly as nature demonstrates with photosynthesis. An option here is the technology platform for artificial photosynthesis that we have developed, as I just explained in the Reticus project. In the research cooperation, we have just initiated with the skin scare specialist Beiersdorf, we see an opportunity to expand the future product portfolio for artificial photosynthesis. With Beiersdorf, we have found a partner who wants to work with us to extend the value chain to include sustainable CO2-based products in the interest of the customers. And here in that case, it's the final customer who is buying the cosmetics. Together, we determine which raw material can be manufactured with the aid and artificial photosynthesis and could also be suitable for care products. While this has already been observed in the early stages, in some other industries, this application is still in its infancy in the cosmetic industry. The circular economy represents an alternative to the conventional linear economic model. We are looking here at the optimal use of material flow, or in other words, in a circular economy, the products of today become the raw materials of tomorrow. In a circular economy, recyclables are ideally kept at the maximum level of value creation, and they are brought to this level via different cycles from manufacture, use, recycling, and reuse. With its innovative strength, the chemical industry contributes to shaping new material cycles in a circular economy. In addition to changing our own value chains and production chains, we also support other sectors in closing their material cycles. We are committed to various recycling technologies. In the case, and there's only one example, of plastic recycling, we have two important goals. We aim to keep mineral oil in the ground, and we want to avoid the incineration of plastics. In short, we want to keep the carbon, which is inevitable for the chemical industry and unavoidable within the chemical industry, in the value chain. Evonik does not produce commodity plastics. Today, we only produce high-performance polymers like PA12, which are used, for example, in pipelines for oil and gas. Only recently, at our site in Marl, we inaugurated a new plant for PA12, and production will begin later this year. The investment of approximately €500 million makes it the largest investment in Germany of our company. This new plant is now part of the world's largest complex for the manufacture of PA12. Along the linear value chain of plastics industry, we provide products like additives or catalysts to make plastics products and their production processes better. Making products more durable enables us to extend their lifetime or permit their reuse. This is even more eco-efficient than recycling. Depending on the plastic waste stream, different technologies for recycling exist, such as mechanical recycling, which is widely established, or emerging chemical recycling technologies. All the technologies have the following in common. The goal of replacing fossil-based resources, such as oil, to the greatest extent possible, avoiding waste as far as possible, at the same time reducing carbon dioxide emission as much as possible. To make it clear, we do not do the recycling processes by ourselves, but we help our partners by contributing our specialties, expertise, and services to keep the plastic in the loop. As a specialty chemicals company, Evonik is positioned in the middle of the value chain. With our technology competence, we help our customers to achieve their goals with regard to the circular economy. We have continued to develop our activities in the circular economy. In fall 2020, we initiated a global circular plastics program in which we bundle our expertise in the field of circular plastics. The initiative combines all activities of the plastic circular economy within our group, such as the use of sustainable raw materials for the manufacture, the development of products for optimization of mechanical and chemical procedures, as well as new business models. The goal is to intensify collaboration with customers and stakeholders in the plastics industry to expand networks along the entire value chain. This will improve the quality and competitiveness of plastics at the end of their life cycles and accelerate the transformation to a circular economy. At Evonik, we have the role of an enabler by providing products, competencies, and technologies to enable sustainable plastic applications through innovative solutions at competitive, and that's always important, competitive cost and quality. On the one hand, we defossilate our footprint by using sustainable raw materials, and on the other, we provide solutions for mechanical and chemical recycling of plastics and rubber recycling. With our additives, we help to make mechanical recycling more efficient and to improve the quality of the resulting recyclates so that they can be used in higher quality application. This includes reducing the color and the odor of packaging recyclate, which greatly increases the range of future potential applications. With our additives and process know-how, rubber from old tires can be used in road construction or to manufacture shoe soles instead of incinerating the tires. Some plastic waste streams are not suitable for mechanical recycling, and here we provide solutions for chemical recycling, such as monomer recycling and feedstock recycling. We have developed chemical recycling processes to recover monomers, the basic building blocks of plastics, for example, from PET packaging. These can be used to produce new polymers for PET bottles or other applications. The path to a circular economy is inextricably linked to the careful use of resources and climate protection. We have definitely the innovative power to design new materials loops with less and less fossils and more circular raw material. We tend to utilize this potential. Overall, we expect the global circular plastics program to generate additional sales of more than 350 million euros per year by 2030. For Evonik, this is a key topic of the future. With this program, we want and will make a major contribution to the EU sustainability goals to become climate neutral by 2050. The chemical industry and Evonik have made a major contribution to resource efficiency and production efficiency. Climate protection is only possible with the collaboration of the chemical industry. Our industry is key as it is the basis for innovations for virtually all other sectors. Our promise as a sustainable, forward-looking company is twofold. On the one hand, our efforts to reduce emissions, to promote energy and resource efficiency in our own processes, and on the other, the diverse contributions that we make to ensure that the products of our customers work more effectively and are more and more environmentally friendly. Maintaining the well-being of current and future generations in harmony with economic, ecological, and social interests is the great challenge of our time. We all know that. With our strong position specialty chemicals, we are at the center of this development. In the current scenario, we see additional opportunities for profitable growth and strong differentiation from our competitors. Today, Evonik achieves more than 50% of its sales with products that contribute to improved resource efficiency. I said that in the very beginning of my speech. Today, we achieve a third of our sales with our next generation solutions, which are an elementary component of our urgently needed future technologies. Over the coming years, we will take measures to increase these shares of total sales. We are responding to the growing significance and sustainability for our business with the continuing integration of appropriate criteria into our strategic management process. This is in line with our aspiration to improve lives of people day by day, today and for upcoming generations, with pioneering ideas in close collaboration with our customers and partners for intelligent products and the solutions of the future. With that, I hand over to you, Christoph, to run the Q&A.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Harald, for this great presentation. So I can only encourage people, let's say, to enter, let's say, questions into the chat box. At the moment, we have only one in the chat box, because so my job is actually not to come up with his own question, but so to raise questions on behalf of our audience. So I think the first question comes from Korea and relates to the share of the is that how you call it? The share of the next generation solutions in Korea, and maybe also the outlook. So what kind of share this next generation solutions could have in Korea, maybe in the next coming years?
Yeah, in general, I would say that the next generation solutions are not restricted to any region or any country. Actually, it's applicable anywhere. If I take Korea, and I mentioned in the very beginning that we, for example, do have a hydrogen peroxide plant. And if you apply the PARC analysis, for example, on hydrogen peroxide, then you quickly will identify that there are areas of application where you can substitute, for example, chlorine-based products in water cleaning processes by hydrogen peroxide. Or you can substitute products which are used in the cleanup of ground, yeah, by hydrogen peroxide or peroxide solutions. Yeah? So, and this is substituting a chemical entity which bears some issues by another one which at the end of the application just is dissolved mainly into water. Yeah? So as you produce hydrogen peroxide out of hydrogen and oxygen, you end up at the end also with hydrogen and oxygen or water, yeah, mainly. So this would be one example, and another definite example, because at the end, if you look to a circular economy, then this, from my perspective, will not work on a global scale in the sense that we will have, let's say, very, very big plants with where economy of scale drives the business. Why? Because we need in a local environment to collect the products. In other words, for example, the polymers we want to use for recyclate, and it will make absolutely no sense to collect that and ship that around the globe and use it in a very, very big facility. That will always stay local. So today I can't tell you, will the radius be 100, 500 or 1,000 kilometers, but it definitely will not be that we ship that stuff around the world, yeah? In the end. Yeah. So you will have regional solutions, you will have national solutions depending on the logistics conditions you have in a certain area, the sorting conditions, the collecting conditions. And then just take my example from earlier with the PET recycling, that we do the chemical recycling to break the PET down into monomers, to use those monomers again for polymerization steps. That can be done in any country. It can be done in Korea, it can be done in Brazil, it can be done anywhere. So that is the beauty of those processes. Depending which loop you take, you are either very local, you are sub-regional or regional, or potentially not really global. But of course, when the monomer is produced, that monomer, that can be, of course, collected somewhere to be polymerized because it's just a normal raw material at the end.
Okay, good. So there's another question related to the next generation sales or solutions and or the products. So we just assume that those products, there's a lot of R&D involved, and most probably they're more expensive than the, I would say, standard or say conventional products, maybe focusing on the same solutions. So the question is, are your customers willing to pay maybe a specific green markup, so an additional price for a better sustainable solution, or is or are you basically taking over the additional cost increase and it hits your EBIT in a negative way?
Actually, it's the other way around. The products we provide create additional margin. So anything what comes from, I mentioned the innovation growth fields of Evonik. I didn't elaborate a lot on that, where we want to contribute additional 1 billion sales compared to 2015 by 2025. So in a 10 years period, from 0 to 1 billion. And those are typically next generation solutions, which are residing in those growth fields. And I'll give you one example. We produce membranes for gas separation. So this is based on specific polymers, and then you produce a module, and then you inject the gases you want to separate, and then through that membrane, the gas gets separated. Typical application areas are, for example, biogas. So you need to clean the biogas, that you have the methane, which is the product you are aiming for, is clean enough. So, and by using our product, that biogas becomes a usable product. So this is an added value for the one producing the gas. So that is one example. Another example, take a typical polymer, which you can produce either from fossil-based raw materials with fossil-based energy use. So it's not only the product, but also the energy needed to transform the product. So all fossil. And then on the other side, you substitute the fossil-based energy by renewable energy, and you might substitute the fossil-based raw material by bio-based raw material. And there is already a market existing that specific customers exactly want that product, and we demand, we need the product with that property, the technological properties, including that it's bio-based and that it's from renewable energy. And there's a price tag to that, because we do that only if margin is sustained. So, and this has started years back, and it shifts. So it's a process. Let's say it started from 100 to 0, then it moved to 99 to 1, then to 98 to 2. And so it's an ever increasing relative share where more and more customers see the value and do have sales arguments, because it's not only the technological property which the final customer is paying for. It's also we both wear glasses, for example. We now have a customer who is producing the frames of glasses. And that customer insisted that what I just described is really the fundament and the basis of the frame. So he's not accepting fossil-based. Yeah? And he can sell the glasses because that image is carried along at higher prices than the regular frames. So there is a margin to share. In other words, I like that picture, so I bring it. The pizza gets bigger, so everyone gets a bigger slice. So it's not a win-lose situation, it's a win-win situation at the end. And only then it will work. So if everything gets more expensive and less affordable for customers, the world could afford less. That was never, let's say, a winning idea. So we need to make sure that there is a win-win situation for all the participants. We need to make sure through technological improvements that we increase the slices for everyone. And that has always been the idea behind RD&I, behind innovation. You find new routes, either to improve the properties or to take out cost or whatever. But any dimension of sustainability needs to contribute that the overall level out of ecological, economic, and the social dimension is lifted. If that's not the case, something's wrong with the product.
Yeah, I think so. The question I think always comes down for, let's say, other products, let's say, properly priced, or the external factors like CO2 emission priced into the product costing or not. Or let's say now the floodings, the droughts, etc., etc. So can you maybe also give an example of any technology you have already identified as a new next generation solution, but the price is still too high? This is maybe sub question number one. And the next sub question is, how do you work together with your suppliers? Do you also have, let's say, your suppliers coming up with new ideas about similar, let's say, next generation solutions that you think it's great, but it's green, it's sustainable, but it's maybe still a bit too costly. You have to come back, let's say, with a better price, or let's say you develop this in cooperation with your supplier in order to make it marketable. And maybe just two sub questions.
Yeah, I happily answer them. Actually, those two questions could lead to another half an hour presentation, but I try to keep it short and crisp. First, let me start with price. We all tend to believe that there is an additional cost and somebody needs to bear this additional cost. Actually, my impression is today, yeah, we go to a customer or a supplier comes to us, and then you have this pricing argument, of course. But this is nothing else but a discussion which needs to take place anyway. So you need to find the proper price. And is there, when you come with a new solution, then there is actually no comparison. The only thing you know as the one who wants to supply, what do I need to get as a price in order to maintain or improve my margin? And this is how you go into the debate. That will not lead to a situation that the customer at the end will happily agree. No, he will always complain. Anybody in the value chain will always complain that the price is too high. So no problem, as we are all acquainted to that. Anything else would be strange. You would ask yourself, oh, I have put the number too low because we are directly happy. No. So that as an overall theme on pricing. Now we need to go to the cost side, and cost is an intrinsic part of product properties. No? And then you need to, as a future solution provider, you need to have the full basket, and then you need to live with a potentially slower ramp up of market penetration if the market is not ready yet. But at the end, inevitably, products with a higher, bigger handprint and a lower footprint will definitely win the marketplace. And whoever is the one who gets the cost out first, not saying that we will supply at a lower margin, that's not the point, but to come up with creative ideas, with technology improvements to drive the cost out, there the winners will be. Then you asked for examples. Are there products already where their, let's say, cost is still so high? So I take as I think it's a pretty proper example, because all the world is talking about the hydrogen economy today. And there are some countries where, let's say, the political environment says only green hydrogen is good hydrogen. There are other countries where it's, let's say, the environment helps more that people stay technologically open, and we are, as I always call it, color agnostic. Because in the first place, it doesn't matter if you have a green, blue, turquoise, red, yellow hydrogen, because we need, with pretty high speed, to come up with also an infrastructure which can use hydrogen at the end. And if we would rely on green hydrogen only based on renewable energy, then the ramp up would be too small and there would be no infrastructure. And then you end up always in circling around and the cat biting its own tail, because something is always missing. And as we do have, for example, today, in most countries of the world, pipeline systems which are used for gas, why not directly go and increase the relative share of hydrogen in the gas transportation system and see where the limits are, where the technological issues are, and how to improve that system. And actually in the system, it doesn't matter which color the hydrogen has. Color.
Yeah.
The point is we need to go into big scale. And there is no big scale green hydrogen today. So we limit ourselves in going too slow by being color agnostic. Because, I mean, in most parts of the world, green hydrogen still is 4 or 5 times more expensive than gray hydrogen. And then over time, once the scaling brings down the price, then you can shift the color to hydrogen, which is less and less and less CO2 bearing. But you develop the infrastructure along and not after, because that takes just too much time. So that would be a very concrete example to your second question.
Okay, good. That's good. So we have still 6 minutes to go, 5.5. And so Thomas, also based in Korea. So first of all, he was delighted to hear about your approaches to circular economy and especially recycling and reusing plastic waste and creating new usage forms for previously used plastics. That, however, addresses the problem after its creation. And the question is Evonik engaged in finding solutions that eliminate the waste by not creating it in the first place?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I already gave a few examples that we have a very, very strong biotech base. You could see from the examples I gave. So that of course includes that you can go bio-based, and we can help also. And I said we are not the ones producing the big scale polymers, and we are not the ones who will do the recycling at the end, but we are the ones helping on both fronts with our additives, and that could also lead to that we help the cleavage of even biodegradable material, because at the end biodegradable only means that the polymer bonding can be broken down way easier than in conventional polymers, where it takes hundreds of years. But it's not that if you have all these biodegradable polymers collected, that you directly have the cleavage. You still need to manipulate that product. You still need to additivate that product, and you still need to do pretty much the same stuff what you do when you have a chemical recycling process. I gave the example of PET. You need to do that here as well, no? Okay. Because here also you do not want to lose the carbon.
Okay. So we have time for one more question, I believe. So the question, where's the question? So maybe a bit tricky. So it's from Andre, based in, I think still based in Thailand. So what are the intentions with those products which eventually cannot meet the Evonik sustainable criteria, but remain in high demand from business for various excellent reasons?
Yeah. So actually, I already gave you an example when I picked the hydrogen peroxide case. We are a producer of alcoholates, and that is based on a mercury cell electrolysis. So, and we need to come up with a new technology to produce the same product, because the product will be in demand, but still the process will be phased out. So this is one example where the issue lies not with the product we sell, but with the process we use. So here we look then for a substitution, and we are in the middle of doing that. So, and then if it comes to the product itself, where the product has some issues, then we try to modify the product in maintaining the technical properties by improving the footprint. That would be, for example, for the transitioners or for the challenge products, which we have in our portfolio. We can't neglect that. It's there. So we need to do something about it. And then we look for the same technical properties, because the customer doesn't want the product A, B, C, D. Typically, the customer wants a property. And if you can fulfill that request for the technical property with a product which has a reduced footprint, as I said, then you have the solution. And we work on, of course, those substitution products.
Okay, good. I think this answers this question very well. So there's two questions from Hagyong and from Sharon. But I think we will follow up with Harald later on. Let's have a one-to-one discussion. Thank you very much, Harald, first of all, for the excellent presentation, but also for your openness during the Q&A process. And it is always great to learn from board members, from leaders, and to learn more about the strategic approach of companies. To all who hopefully enjoyed this session as much as I did, as we have the next SDG session scheduled for September 14, then with a board member of Mercedes-Benz Germany, or Mercedes-Benz headquarters. I keep the name for the time being still as a secret. It's a board member. Yeah, and again, Harald, thank you very much for today. Thank you very much to all participants for your participation, and also for the excellent questions. So from my side, goodbye, but maybe also Harald would like to say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you everyone who was interested in the speech. And what I really liked was that we at the end really got a very lively Q&A with nice questions, because very often you have one or two and then you say, so what was wrong? So today, obviously nothing was wrong. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And now have a nice reminder of the day. If you are in Asia, then you don't have that many hours left. And I will now go into my normal, let's say, working routine here in Germany. Thank you very much.